So, oh no, wait. Actually, I need that. But I don't. I don't for the next 36 hours. I have never felt this relaxed owning an iPhone. And here's why. Apple has finally done it. It has fixed its battery. Okay, listen. You've seen the unboxings. You've seen the first 24-hour hype videos where everyone is screaming about the benchmarks and specs. But that's the honeymoon phase. That's the first date where you're on your best behavior and you're trying not to chew with your mouth open. This is the sweatpants and ordering a pizza on a Tuesday night phase.
Sorry, come on now.
It's been 90 days since I bought the iPhone 17 Pro Max and the new phone smell, it's gone. And honestly, that's when this phone actually got good. Because nobody buys a $1,300 phone for the Geekbench scores. You buy it because you want your life to be easier. You want to capture memories without fighting a settings menu. Technically, this thing is a beast. We got the A19 Pro chip, that ridiculous 12 gigs of RAM, and yes, the cosmic orange I was terrified would look like a traffic cone. Actually, it doesn't. It looks like a sunset had a baby with a sports car. But we are not doing a spec sheet today. I am not reading numbers off a box. I'm going to tell you 3 moments where I realized Apple really got it right, and few moments where I felt Apple can do better. Let's talk about the battery now. If you're coming from an iPhone 14, 15, honestly, even the 16 models, you probably have what I had, what I call post-traumatic socket disorder. You know the drill. You walk into a room and your eyes immediately scan the wall. You are an outlet stalker. It's primal and it's exhausting. And I lived that life. For the past few years, my nightly ritual was plug in before you sleep. But for the last 3 months, I stopped plugging in at night. Remember the hook? I said 36 hours, but that wasn't a random number. That's the new rhythm. I charge this thing every other day. And no, I don't barely use it. I abuse it. I'm answering Slack and emails from 5 a.m. in the morning. I am on long video calls with my parents. I'm doom scrolling Reddit, social media, trying to find the meaning of life, doing YouTube, playing music. I'm navigating to places I've been 5 times already. I'm throwing everything at this phone except the kitchen sink. But thanks to the massive 5088 milliamp hour battery in the eSIM models, I finished that heavy day with 30 to 40% left. That buffer is peace. And when that charging hour finally hits, it does 0 to 50% in 30 minutes. Which is exactly enough time to put on a vinyl and do absolutely nothing. Actually, it's annoying. By the time my favorite track comes, this phone is already screaming, "Let's go!" And I'm like, dude, shut up. So the battery removes the anxiety. You stop looking for outlets and you start looking at the world. And when you start looking at the world, you start noticing beautiful moments and things you want to capture. Which brings us to the moment 2, the camera. And to prove a point, I have turned off my main camera. For this entire section, I'm filming on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. So if it looks good, that's on me. I'm a genius. If anything looks bad, that's on Apple. Blame the algorithm. Now on paper, the new center stage front camera uses the 18 megapixel true depth camera with a faster f1.9 aperture. The quality is really good and it finally stops smoothing everything out. The skin tones are actually accurate, the texture is real. You can literally count my pores, which I would like to formally apologize for. But you asked for clarity and sharpness, what else do you want? But the real magic is in the pixels. It's the weird shaped square sensor. And I call that feature the wrist saver. Because the sensor is square, you can shoot a horizontal YouTube video while holding the phone vertically. It feels like the laziest innovation ever, and I love it. I don't have to twist my wrist, I just tap a button. Horizontal video, tap. Vertical shots, tap. The center stage front camera automatically zooms and rotates based on who is in frame when taking photos and keeps you centered in video calls. That opens feature number 2, auto tracking. On WhatsApp and FaceTime or any other video calls, it uses AI to follow you. You can sit, stand, grab coffee, pace around, and the camera is just like, yeah, I got you. Because wherever I move, it just keeps me framed. I'm like, okay, the camera won't abandon me. Dude, I thought you were going to follow me into the abyss. Relax, it's helpful but not clingy. But for video calls, it's a total game changer. So the front camera is impressive, but let's be honest, nobody buys the Max model for selfies. We buy it for this monstrosity. This is the new camera plateau. It's not a bump anymore, it's a geographical feature. It wobbles so much on a table, you could use it to mix paint. But honestly, I kind of respect it. It's aluminium, it's massive, and it screams, I'm expensive, please don't drop me. And this plateau is housing the new 4x telephoto lens. Now coming to the rear cameras. And I'm going to be real with you, if you're coming from an iPhone 15 or 16 Pro Max, don't expect a miracle. We basically have the same three lenses here, and for the first time, Apple has blessed us with triple 48 megapixels. But here is the controversy. They dropped the zoom from 5x down to 4x. And everyone is saying it's a downgrade. But hear me out. 5x was great when you go to a zoo, but it was terrible for dinner. If you wanted that cool, compressed pro look across a table, 5x was too tight. To get the shot, I had to lean back so far, I basically ended up sitting with the family at the next table. I have to foot their bill now. But 4x fixes that. It gives you that beautiful portrait compression, but you can actually use it inside a house without knocking down a wall. And here is the kicker. Because it's 48 megapixels now, you can just crop in 5x and still get a sharper image. So should you upgrade iPhone 15 Pro Max? Maybe yes. For color, sharp zoom, maybe it's justifiable. 16 Pro Max users, stop. Go for a vacation and basically use the same camera. Finally, video. And honestly, the only major upgrade from the 16 Pro Max is ProRes RAW. It sounds pro, but it will eat up your storage like a hungry hippo. If you shoot 4K, 60 or 120, you must use an external SSD. Welcome to the dongle life. And to actually use ProRes RAW properly, you will probably end up in Blackmagic or Final Cut Camera app, because the default app is still pretty basic. ProRes RAW does unlock OpenGate using the full sensor, great for cropping your horizontal videos to vertical. But it has no inbuilt stabilization. So unless you are a statue, your footage will look like a Bourne Identity fight scene. Oh, and a little bonus. You can finally record main and front cameras at the same time. They are perfect for reaction or dual cam videos. But let's be real, for 99% of you, you don't need log or raw. Standard 4K 30 or 60 is incredible. Shooting raw to film your cat is an overkill. You don't need to drive a Ferrari just to get groceries. Though I would love an Aston Martin. Coming back to the video. So the whole segment was shot on iPhone 17 Pro Max main camera. Be honest, did it look good enough to you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I actually want to hear them. And if this helped, you know the deal. Like, subscribe and share. Now let's talk about movement 3. These are things you actually notice every time you pick this phone up. The color, the screen, and the daily use, the feel. First, the new cosmic orange color. When I first unboxed this, I thought, wow, it's loud. The first week was a total ego trip. It was totally a head turner. In subways, malls, cafes, friends' place, etc. But human nature is funny. 2 weeks later, nobody cares. I got used to it, my friends got used to it, strangers got used to it. Now it's just my orange phone. It makes me wonder, do you buy the hero color or do you play it safe with black or silver? Let me know in the comments. But the joy that doesn't fade, the screen, it now hits 3000 nits. I don't squint anymore, I don't change angles, I don't look for shades. I can easily take a look at maps, messages, YouTube in the middle of the day, in full sun. It's just readable. And then there is this invisible stuff, the haptics. Paired with 120Hz display, everything feels perfectly in sync. Apple still does this better than anyone. The vibration motor is so tight that typing on this keyboard feels like popping bubble wrap. It's weirdly addictive, which leads us to the performance. I am not talking about benchmarks, I'm just talking about the flow. I have tried to break this UI. I switched from a 4K game to maps to camera. It never stutters, not once. There are no glitches, no frame drops. It just moves as fast as my brain thinks. And that's the real luxury. It's not just that it's fast, it's just that it never makes you wait. Now let's talk about the part where I go, yeah, okay, Apple, you still have work to do. First up, Apple Intelligence, the AI. Apple's AI on the iPhone has never really impressed me, and right now it still doesn't. It has helpful little tools here and there, summarizing text, image search, that kind of stuff, but nothing you'd call next level. But that changes soon. Apple just announced a partnership with Google's Gemini AI to power Siri and Apple Intelligence. Reports suggest better conversational responses, proactive suggestions based on apps you are using, remembering context, even helping you plan trips or answer questions more intelligently. Now, none of that is live yet, but I'm really hopeful and it actually looks promising. Now, let's talk about Apple's other big partnership, not with Google, but with Isaac Newton. Because this thing obeys gravity aggressively. It completely fails the Joggers test. Put this in Joggers pocket without tying the drawstring super tight. Let's just say you will feel the breeze. And I'm not even going to talk about jeans. At this point, it's not a phone, it's an anchor. In any case, I don't care what the spec sheet says about aluminium or weight balance. This phone is dense. It's a brick. And holding it, look at my pinky. That is a permanent structural change to my hand. I think my bone density is actually evolving just to support the iPhone. The pinky dent is real and it hurts. But if the weight doesn't hurt your hand, the anxiety will hurt your soul. Let's talk about Scratchgate, the most famous one. Apple went with an aluminum frame this year, very matte and stealth. But there is a catch, it is softer. The finish can show wear and tear pretty fast, especially around sharp edges or camera bump areas. Coins, keys, pocket length, everything is a threat. You might see it before you know it. I was so paranoid, I bought the case as soon as I hit order. In fact, I bought 2 cases. So be ready to pay the case tax immediately. So that's the iPhone 17 Pro Max Orange, not just on paper, but how it actually fits into real life. If you still have questions on storage options, switching from Android, or whether it's actually worth the money, drop them in the comments and I will help you think it through. If this breakdown has helped you, hit like, subscribe, and send it to that friend who is one bad decision away from buying a new phone. This is the Chetan method. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you in the next one.